The late Davie Cooper was and remains one of Scottish football's great entertainers.
I will never be tired of talking about him.
That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like a Davie Cooper.
The darling of the Rangers faithful. Every stadium was a stage, and he always gave fans their money's worth.
He was smart, but he was different.
He just wanted to play football constantly.
That's brilliantly stopped by Davie Cooper.
The town of Hamilton was the cornerstone of Davie's outlook on life, and it's where our story begins in the mid-1960s.
People had said about they seen David with a ball as soon as he could walk. David never kicked a ball until he was 9. It was one particular day we played football on a Sunday, a piece of waste ground over the back from where we stayed. We stayed in flats. And we had a goalkeeper shot. So I had said, I'll get us a goalkeeper. And I jumped the fence, went over, dragged David out, screaming, didn't want to go, and said, stand there and don't let the ball go between these two jackets. And he said, okay. And he hated it. And the following morning, I heard the bang, 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 and it was David at the back, kicking the ball against the garage doors. So I went down and I said, oh, you playing today? He says, yes, I'm playing, but I'm not going in between those two jackets. And he played outfield, and it was just natural. Unbelievable. All left foot.
Uniquely gifted, singularly talented, Davie's rise to the top was done on his own terms, a schools international with a big reputation. In 1974, at the age of 18, he found himself at a crossroads. Youth football was behind him, and working as an apprentice printer, he wasn't going to be pressed to join just anyone.
A phone call came in from Motherwell Football Club, and David was over the moon. And the then manager said to David, well, I'm prepared to sign you, but I'll sign you amateur. Now, he had 22 senior offers at this time. So after probably a wee laugh between David and my dad, they left.
When word made it to Clydebank that this precocious talent remained unattached, their chairman made a play.
Jack Steedman took a punt on him, really. And, you know, the story about how, you know, Jack basically emptied the slot machines at the social club, that added up to about £300. And that was how he got signed in the first place. I mean, not that money ever mattered.
And the first thing he done was buy my mum a washing machine.
It's almost like he needed to feel valued by somebody. And Jack stayed later. It was the best thing he ever did in sort of more than 40 years in football.
He was a real homebird. In fact, I could hardly get him to move from Hamilton to Clydebank for the training. He would come to play, but he wasn't anxious to come to the training. It was because it was too far away.
Cooper to take it.
At Kilbowie, he really hit the ground running.
Straight across goal, Hunter. And it's there, is it? Yes.
My dentist, the guy stays in East Kilbride, and he went to Clydebank to see this boy that he'd heard about.
And Clydebank were beating teams. They went on a 17-match unbeaten run at one point.
Davie scored 22 goals as Clydebank won promotion to the First Division in 1976. And it was in September of that year that things took a fresh turn.
When Clydebank were drawn against Rangers in the Cup, in the League Cup, right from the off, you know, and within the first 2 minutes, he'd skinned John Greig.
In the early days of his career, and certainly around the time of the Rangers versus Clydebank game, Davie wasn't one for interviews. He let his football do the talking, though he did have something to say about his first encounter with John Greig. With agreement from his brother John, we have used AI to recreate his voice based on samples from our archive, to deliver extracts from his autobiography, to articulate some of his inner thoughts for the first time, including this one.
The first game was at Ibrox, and 2 minutes into the match I learnt the ground rules according to John Greig. The man who would later become my gaffer took exactly 120 seconds to let me know he was around, and then, just to rub salt into my wounds, growled, "If I get another chance, I'll break your leg."
He gave the Rangers defence a torrid time. Rangers were looking at him saying, we need to sign this lad.
And sign him they did. In the summer of 1977, Jock Wallace paid a fee of £100,000 to sign Davie Cooper.
He was always destined to go to Rangers. because Rangers was David's boyhood club.
You know, when you had Gordon Smith joining, you had Bobby Russell joining, and you had Davie Cooper joining, they obviously hoped that they would be playing for Rangers' first team almost immediately. The senior players had made it clear that we're not going to let this trio just walk in and take our places.
I was used to that kind of thing, whereas Davie wasn't. But he's the best player at Clydebank, so there wouldn't be any criticism there. Whereas the kind of banter in the Ibrox dressing room was, if you made a mistake, you did anything wrong, you got criticised. So you had to be able to stand up to it, and that's why I had to help Coop, because I could see that he was being affected by it.
Cooper, beating Philippi cleanly. Past Fleming. Johnston!
He and Jock Wallace immediately got on really well. They had a simpatico about them. And they were both mad keen Rangers fans as well, which obviously helped.
Davie's first final in blue was the 1978 League Cup against Celtic, and it proved to be the stuff of dreams.
Smith.
It was my first final, of course, so that made it special for me right away.
Oh, I was really excited about it, and I was delighted myself that I made the goal for him. It was almost like a tackle I put in to cross the ball back.
Smith made that look obvious again.
And he smashed it into the roof of the net.
And when I scored the opening goal of the game, I went berserk. It's just as well the gates were closed, or I would have been off and running towards Ibrox.
First cup final, and we scored the 2 goals that win the cup. We had a good laugh about it later on. No matter what MD thinks about us coming here, we've proved that we deserve to be here.
They won the league. They were on a roll, really, with the championship. It was a real steamrolling performance from them, and they beat Aberdeen in the cup, in the Scottish Cup final.
As for my own season, I had some good games, and obviously I did enough to stay in the side in all but a handful of matches, but I knew better than anyone I was playing nowhere near my full potential.
You know, Jock Wallace had masterminded, 2 treble successes in the space of 3 years, and he was in a great position to say, right, we need to reinforce the squad again, but he just didn't get the money that he was wanting, and Wallace, the all-conquering hero, suddenly, the news was coming out that he'd resigned. And obviously, club legend, John Greig must have seemed like the perfect person to take on the manager's role.
It was a move that sparked even more controversy, and from my point of view, it did not prove to be a success. Jock Wallace bought me and clearly rated me. John, as it turned out, didn't seem to share that opinion quite as strongly, and we didn't really hit it off when he went upstairs.
Rangers, we were kind of brought up, and it was ingrained in me about the fitness side of it. Don't think that kind of was Davie's kind of thing at that time. So sometimes you had to kind of toe the line.
I think all wingers have that wee bit of laziness over the years about them. I think that they're very unpredictable.
Why would you leave a Davie Cooper out of side? We know that wingers at times, they can be a wee bit up and down. I would maybe put that down to the fitness side of it.
And he's going to have to tackle, and he's going to have to, really get in opponents' faces and scream blue murder at them and make them scared of him. And Davie Cooper was never going to do any of that stuff.
I don't like training, I never have done, but at least I'm realistic enough to know that you've got to do it. But you don't have to like it.
John Greig put the League Cup and Scottish Cup in the cabinet in his first season, but what was starting to become clear was a rift between Cooper and his manager.
The two of them were never going to be best buddies. And you had Alex Ferguson and Jim McLean starting to do wondrous things at Aberdeen and Dundee United. John Greig was under pressure.
So the kind of relationship between John Greig and the players at that time, it was a bit strained.
He says, he knows what I can do. I don't know why he's not playing me. That's more or less what he said.
He would walk into the club and John Greig would walk past him. There wouldn't be a word exchange between them. Then one of the backroom staff would come up and tell Davie that you're not in the first team this Saturday.
Sick of what was going on there, and he knew he could do a job for the club that he loved, and he wasn't even allowed to do it.
John Greig thought it would be better if Davie Cooper went elsewhere. Why don't you just do it? And Davie just said, I'm a Rangers man.
Even at that age, David, he didn't want to leave home. He was what you call here a home bird.
And it was John's own experience that coloured Davie's worldview.
I was playing for half of Scotland at Dampard Stadium in a year, and I got approached with a guy from Hull City. I ended up going down to Hull City. I was 15 and I was there for 2 years and came back home. It was difficult for me to handle kind of homesickness as well. But had I stayed there, probably David's career would have went completely down a different path.
If he had had a slightly different personality, he could have gone and played wherever he wanted in Europe. But he was happy in the west of Scotland.
It was called the Moody Blue. That was because David's personal life was personal. He just spoke or wanted to speak about football.
He was portrayed as this Moody Blue in the press, and it was absolutely nothing like that with us. As soon as we found out I was a Hamilton boy, I think he took a liking to me. So he had time for you, and it was magic because you're sitting there, somebody you idolise, and he takes an interest in you.
I don't think he was one of these people who was ever going to be a soundbite merchant.
I remember one instance, I can't remember who the reporter was from the Sunday Post in Dundee, had travelled all the way down to try and get an interview with Davie. So he left the guy. He says, "I'm really sorry, but I've not got time." The guy was sitting there going, "No, Davie, I've come all this way." He said, "Well, I didn't actually come." Why should he? He's under no real obligation at the time. And he'd just go, "Bye, I'm away."
And that sense of tension pervades Hampden Park again for the start of the replay of the Scottish Cup.
I mean, it wasn't as if Davie Cooper never turned on the magic when John Greig was there. And, you know, that happened in the 1981 Scottish Cup final.
And the Rangers team tonight, dramatic changes up front. Back into the side, Davie Cooper.
Jock Wallace bought me and clearly rated me. John, as it turned out, didn't seem to share that opinion quite as strongly.
Davie Cooper just ran the show.
Derek Johnson's in, yes, Cooper with a chance. And is it going in? It's a goal! Davie Cooper!
And he just orchestrated the proceedings.
There will be curling that, there is. Oh, that's a great goal! The free kick by Cooper. Cooper. A ball by Cooper, here's McDonald with a chance, he's done it! 3-1, a superb goal engineered by Davie Cooper.
Davie was the man of the match.
Tommy McLean, who didn't play tonight, and there he is, the man who galvanised this Rangers team, Davie Cooper.
That helped John Greig save his job to some extent and make sure that there was another sort of season or two.
Undoubtedly, the greatest individual piece of Cooper magic was his goal in the 1979 Drybrough Cup final, voted the greatest in Rangers history.
It was an amazing goal. It was in the Celtic box and the ball came and he had good control when the first Celtic player ran in to get him and he just flicked it over his head. Controlled it, the second player flicked over his head, did it a third time and then he just volleyed it in. And I think that summed up Davie Cooper to a great degree. He's a bit special. If Lionel Messi had scored that, we'd still be talking about it to this day as well. That was one of the best goals I've ever seen.
Absolutely amazing, you know, but I always knew that he could do these kind of things.
John Greig failed to deliver the coveted league title, and by 1983, a parting of ways was inevitable.
Well, it was an absolute nightmare, really, the last 2 or 3 years. You know, Aberdeen obviously started winning league titles, Dundee United won a league title.
I think they've given John Greig too long. 5 years a lot. It's not won as the league at all, the Premier League.
The crowd started vanishing. Greig's position had become almost untenable.
At that time, at Rangers, if you didn't win games of football, well, it was only going to mean one thing, you're going to be out of a job.
The team needed, you know, a shot in the arm. And they thought they were going to get it when Jock Wallace returned to Ibrox.
I think what Jock really did do was appreciate what he had. He had a gem. I think it was a fresh start for Davie, and Davie enjoyed that.
The return of Jock Wallace put a spring in Davie's step, and as a first-team regular again, he returned to the Scotland side after a near 5-year absence. A pivotal World Cup qualifier in Cardiff in 1985 would prove to be an infamous night.
There's Graham Sharp nodding it down. Handball! That is a penalty kick! Scotland have a penalty kick!
When the penalty was given, Roy Aitken picked up the ball. He said, I just went, oh, great. Roy Aitken's going to take it. And Roy Aitken proceeded to walk over to David and shove the ball into his stomach and said, you're taking it.
The penalty kick will be entrusted to Davie Cooper. Cooper has made it the most vital kick of his career.
He never had any pressure that I knew of. Maybe it was inwardly that he helped, but it never showed.
But it was also one of the most miserable nights of his life, even as they got a playoff place secured.
It was just after Scotland had scored the goal that almost certainly clinched their place in the World Cup finals that Jock collapsed last night.
The death of Jock shook everyone, as Davie recollects in a section from his book, read by an AI recreation of his voice.
It was a dreadful moment, when nothing, least of all a football match, seemed to have any significance. No one moved. No one did anything. Every man had his own thoughts, although few could actually understand what had happened.
They did go to the playoffs. The playoff game against Australia, Cooper scored in that. They won comfortably enough over the 2 legs. You might have thought there was let's do Jock proud, but I don't think there was that. I think there was a sense of, how important is this really?
Davie played a fringe part in a disappointing 1986 World Cup. But back at Ibrox, things were hotting up when their new manager had exciting plans.
I mean, when Graham came in, he didn't walk in, he swaggered in. I think he'd made his mind up, who was staying and who was going. So I think he'd done his homework.
He was the best player at the club by a country mile. And the other players accepted that.
Beautiful performance by Cooper. Brilliant run by Cooper.
He was our best creative player. He was the one that had the key to the doors when things were tight. He was a unique talent.
Cooper. Builds it up for the chance, and he's done it.
The League Cup was the first trophy of the Souness era, and it was sealed by the Cooper left foot.
We got a penalty. I think it was Big Roy Aitken. I think he hauled in Big Terry Butcher. I actually got into trouble initially because I was walking back to the halfway line because I knew Coop was going to put it in the back of the net. But I get told, no, get run the edge, in case he misses. He was never going to miss anyway.
You get a penalty, I wouldn't even bother looking, knowing he was just going to score it. And that was Davie Cooper.
I can honestly say that I've never been more confident taking a spot kick. And there was never any danger of me missing it.
Scotland at Cardiff, and like Jock died. Yeah, he's going to score.
Why would you leave a Davie Cooper out of side?
He knew he could do a job for the club that he loved, and he wasn't being allowed to do it.
He was the one that had the key to the doors when things were tight. He was a unique talent.
And there goes the final whistle. Rangers have won the Scotland League Cup final.
But Coop thrived in that. He loved that. He loved those big moments. And that was my first medal, my first League Cup medal. So I always look back and think, that's Davie Cooper won my first League Cup medal.
Cooper. Cooper for Rangers. Beautiful performance by Cooper. And it's in, it's a goal, the equaliser. Brilliant run by Cooper.
Cooper was a standout on the left-hand side of Rangers' midfield and a key player in ending a 9-year league title drought in the summer of 1987.
Out come Rangers to meet the pent-up and total emotions of 45,000 supporters, greeting the new Premier Division champion.
There was this drought. He took it very personally. He didn't make a big song and dance about his positive exploits, but he did take it very, very badly when the team were unsuccessful and were failing.
It goes almost without saying that it was a fantastic feeling maybe even better than my first time, what seemed like a century ago.
It becomes all worth it, you know, to win the league, to mean that you're the best team in the country, and Davie being one of the top players in the country.
A further title arrived in 1989, but at the age of 33, Davie made a big decision that his 12 years at Rangers would have to come to an end.
That's one regret of my time at Rangers, that I sold him. Didn't want to sell him, but he insisted he wanted to go because he wanted to play every week, and I couldn't guarantee him that. And I let him go because he was an employee, but he was also my mate, and he wanted to go and play every week. Though he would have got enough games, I think, to keep him happy, but he just couldn't accept it. He wasn't going to be the first name on the team sheet.
I left Rangers after a brilliant 12 years I had with them. I left there only to further my career in football. I was beginning to be a sub.
And I reluctantly sold him, and that, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been prepared to fall out with him as a player-manager relationship for the sake of Rangers, but I didn't.
And for his next stop, he drew on home comforts, signing for Motherwell.
His debut for Motherwell, a League Cup tie down at Kilmarnock. He came out the tunnel at Rugby Park and he ran out to the Motherwell fans. And he gave one of them to the Motherwell fans, right? It's right, I'm at Motherwell now, right? Let's have a fresh start. Motherwell fans gave him a great ovation, and wow.
Here's Cooper again. Oh, brilliant play, penalty kick. That was superb play by Cooper.
They put him in a proper position in one respect. They were more of the continental style of playing Davie Cooper as a sort of what they call now the number 10. Give him a free role, and then he was a very, very creative player.
Oh, brilliant play from Cooper.
No magic in football, there's no magic formula. It's quite simple. You want your very best players on the ball more than your average players. So you wanted to get him on the ball as much as you possibly could. That's maybe something I should have seen at the time, maybe use him more in a central role.
After a season to remember, Davie Cooper was named Player of the Year in 1991. But there was one further honour waiting in store.
And is it a case that the cup final can't come quick enough for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think the league reconstruction and different things have made the league games really in the way now to the end of the season until the 18th.
May the 18th, 1991.
You know, when Motherwell and Dundee United were drawn against one another in the Scottish Cup final, fantastic game of football, one of the greatest ever Scottish Cup finals.
He was majestic in the cup final. At one point, Davie Cooper is back at our corner flag, defending. Now, Davie Cooper had never been there in the entirety of his career.
He's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to tackle, and he's going to have to, you know, really get in opponents' faces and scream blue murder at them and make them scared of him. And Davie Cooper was never going to do any of that stuff.
And I realise I still have something to offer. They've given me that chance, and I hope to repay them for bringing me here.
Davie Cooper was in his element.
Everybody wanted to give him the ball as soon as he could, get it to Coop, he'll create things.
Releasing the early cross, there's Ferguson! Cooper with a free kick. Looking for Craig Patterson, getting up well. There's the header and the goal for Motherwell!
Boy, the team wanted to win that, given every last ounce to help Motherwell win that cup. It was incredible.
But Dundee United were on their coattails the whole time.
Jackson has scored to equalise in the final minute of the match.
I really can't believe it. We're going to get another 30 minutes. United, I would think, now have the upper hand.
Even he, probably 3 years earlier, would have said, am I going to end up lifting another Scottish Cup with another club? I think he would have probably said, I don't think so.
Alan Main. Main's in trouble, there's Steve Cook! And the final whistle is gone! Motherwell have won the cup in the most dramatic fashion possible.
Tom McLean gave me a lifeline, and I think I've repaid him.
I even saw you making a couple of defensive tackles as well.
Yeah, that's right. Colin O'Neill wondered what was wrong. He said, did I see you making a tackle there? I think everybody was just fighting to try and hold on to it. Look at this out there. You've got to try and hold on to it for these people. I think what's happened in the town with the steel and everything, we knew that we owed them something. We tried to put a smile on their faces. But look at them now.
I think we all felt it, but we would all live in that local area. So you would find out that people losing their jobs and Davie was well aware of it.
And I think there was a wee quiet bit of pride about him with that, you know, that he just helped raise the mood a wee bit thanks to what he could do with a ball at his feet or at his foot.
Davie left Motherwell in 1993 to return to his roots at Clydebank. And in March 1995, tragedy struck.
Davie Cooper was taking part in the making of a coaching video this morning with Celtic star Charlie Nicholas when he collapsed on the pitch.
I was in Leicester at the time when I got a phone call saying that David had collapsed. When I got there, the hospital was chock-a-block with cameras and stuff there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my sad duty to inform you that Davie Cooper died this morning.
Just diabolical. I mean, I still have a great deal of difficulty thinking about it. I've never watched a video of David. I just can't bring myself to do it because I just get so emotional. I just can't do it. It's just like yesterday. I mean, that's 30 years and it doesn't get any better.
The general feeling is that we've lost a brother.
Well, what can you say? Simply the best. There's nothing else. Look at this. There's nothing else you can say. Celtic, scarce, I mean... sorry.
If you're a Celtic supporter watching Davie Cooper or a Davie Cooper play, you would delight in it.
Doesn't matter what team you support, just the kind of man he was. That's it. He'll always be remembered.
The respect that he gained from the fans at this club, and not only that, the respect that he gave the fans as well was absolutely incredible.
Just very sad. Very sad. Yeah. He's a lovely person.
God gave Davie Cooper a great gift. I don't think that he could be disappointed by the way it was used.
He's never far from your thoughts. Davie's always going to be about anybody that played with him. The easiest question to answer when anybody asks you is who's the best player you played with? I don't know too many people who played with him that don't say Davie Cooper.
When Motherwell, of course, then named the stand in his honour, it was absolutely brilliant.
Every time I drive up there, you see his photograph on the side of it. It just shows you the esteem and the effect that he had on these clubs. I mean, it's amazing.
I think he's just an icon because, you know, he was at the highest level. Everybody's got great memories of him, just that terrific ability.
In golfing terms, he had every club in the bag. You know, he could ping it, he could drive it, he could fade it, he could draw it. Wonderful striker of the ball.
Davie is an icon for younger kids, professionals to look and try and aspire to be as good as that.
He had so much ability, Davie Cooper. I've played with some top players, but Davie Cooper was the best of the lot.
It's a talent that doesn't come along every day of the week. Anyone you want to name, he's in that group.
I see him as a 39-year-old. You know, the last time I saw him, that's the way I see him. I don't see him, I often say to my wife, I wonder what David would be like now. I just see him as he was at 39. He was my best friend.